Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace, also known as Interlagos. We are in Brazil as CRN brings you coverage of the CSRL Season 8, round number 1 here for these guys here in the GT series, and we're going to see the same action that we did last season. We're going to see a lot of guys competing for both the Pro and the Am Class championships, and if it's anything like last year, there's going to be storylines in every single race. I mean, it was just absolutely crazy. Every race last season and really going all the way down to the wire to determine both the champions at the finale. But I'm ready for another season here. It's going to be a little bit longer of a season for these boys, as last season was only a 7-race schedule. This one going to be out there to a 10-race schedule. So it's going to be very fun to watch these guys compete and get some newer tracks coming up on the schedule. We'll go through the schedule here in a bit, but going to bring in a couple guys that have some championship pedigree as well. Carl Handwork in the booth tonight, joined by David Topher, Joe Sullivan, a little bit under the weather, so bringing in our backup, and certainly a man that's got a lot of experience here on the road courses. Dave, Interlagos, I know you got a lot of experience here. What do you think the drivers are going to have to compete with here tonight?
Well, if they're anything like me, they're going to have to compete with wearing those tires out a little bit too much, especially on this course. Heating up the tires is a big issue. Also, a lot of just challenging corners. You know, you got turn 1 can be tricky. Just getting the car really in the right spot for that quick set of S's. Turn 4 also is a big challenge with the off tracks and everything like that. Not to mention trying to race around your competitors. Not an easy track to find places to pass, so it'll be really interesting to see how these guys do tonight.
Yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to it. Again, race number 1 of 10 on the schedule. The schedule looking pretty nice this year as we start here at Interlagos. Watkins Glen is going to be next week. Then you got Road America, Monza, Le Mans, Sebring, Red Bull Ring, Mount Panorama, also known as Bathurst, and Nürburgring, which is going to be just a nightmare for these guys. And then finishing off the season this season at Suzuka. So a lot of mixture on tracks and a lot of good looking tracks there on the schedule. We're going to bring in a couple familiar faces here to the series, and they're going to be guys that have both experienced the championship ways here in the Am class, and that is going to be driver of the number 82, Renan Delima. We'll start with you, Renan. You won the Am class 2 seasons ago. You won it back there in season number 6, and you got your first taste of the Pro last season. So I guess the first question is going to be, you know, what was it like stepping up to race against the big boys, and what did you take away from last season? What are you going to look forward to building on this one?
Yeah, so it's definitely you know, it's a totally different experience, right? A lot of the Pro drivers have quite a few more years on me, I guess, per se. So it's quite a bit more, I guess, competitive. So I'm just trying to keep up with them. I'm kind of learning from my past mistakes, or the mistakes I made last season, and work my way up. That's really all I'm hoping for this season.
You showed some glimpses here and there of kind of breaking through towards the end of last season. Is something you're looking to build on and start off strong here at Interlagos?
Yeah, this isn't my Interlagos is not my strong suit. I'll be honest, but I have improved from previously being here. We'll see tonight how I'll do. Ran a few practice sessions, and I'm hoping, you know, as long as I can keep up and stay out of the pack. And what I've realized is just being consistent tends to be a little more beneficial. If you're consistent, then usually you don't make as many mistakes, and you wind up getting ahead. Even if the guy, you know, ahead of you is a little quicker, he might make a mistake, and you capitalize on that.
Well, we'll see how you can handle the guys out here, excuse me, this season, as the field lost a couple of their heavy hitters, but certainly still have plenty of heavy hitters here in the Pro class. So we'll let you get to it here, and we'll bring in our other guy. We'll keep you in here just in case you know, you get some words of wisdom here yet for John. But driver of the number 11 here, John Seimer, winner of the Am class last season in season 7, and John, now you get to fill in Renan's shoes here, and you are the new man on the block here in the Pro Series. How do you think it's going to pan out? Or are there anything that you're kind of picking Renan's brain at all to see what it's like to race with these big boys?
We joked in the waiting room, we're like, oh, the battle for last place, in the pro class. Obviously I think both of us are, trying to not be last place. But, to Renan's point, I think consistency will do you much better than trying to go out there and set like the absolute blistering lap time, because I think you start off with the consistency and then try to build on that. Just starting to go out there and just try to like smash the fastest lap you can and then try to repeat is, I don't think, the best strategy, but consistency is key, I think.
So taking a look at this season's schedule, Renan, we'll start with you. Are there any tracks that you're definitely looking forward to that you feel you're going to have a good finish at, and are there any on the schedule that are just scaring you?
To be honest, I'd have to go back and look at the schedule to be able to tell you. What I really enjoy is like Road Atlanta is a big one for me. I'm not sure if that's on the schedule for this season, but
I'll take a rundown of the schedule so both of you have it here. We got Watkins Glen, Road America, Monza, Le Mans, Sebring, Red Bull Ring, Mount Panorama, Nürburgring, and then Suzuka.
Monza is probably going to be one of my stronger suits. I think I do pretty well at Monza, and then I think for a lot of the guys here, Nürburgring is probably going to be the most challenging. I don't see it. It's such a big course and it's hard to remember every single turn. I've tried and it's tough. So, not looking forward to it. Mount Panorama tends to be a little challenging as well, but I'm looking forward to Monza. Monza typically, I do pretty well there.
All right, well, we'll quick jump over here to John, and then we'll let you guys get out there to qualifying. John, same question to you. What kind of tracks you looking forward to, and which ones scare you?
Yeah, I think the Glen's probably my favorite. The most time there, like racing and all that kind of stuff. And then the Nürburgring, right? It's just like, any loss of focus on that kind of a lap is going to be catastrophic. So even with the fast repair, it's just not going to be a good way to start or end a race. Depending on when that happens or if it happens. So
it's not that bad. It's only about 15 miles and about 150 corners. Other than that, it's just a beautiful drive through the countryside. There's nothing wrong with it. But well, we'll let you boys get at it here for qualifying, and maybe we'll talk to you guys at the end of the race if you can sneak your way up there and maybe shock these guys in round number 1.
Thank you,
Carlo. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, boys. That is John Seimer, driver of the number 11, and Renan Delima, driver of the number 82. Both those guys competing in the Pro Series this season. And we got a good-sized field out here tonight, a little bit over about 25 cars out here. Looks like maybe tapping out here at 27 as some guys still sneaking in here to get ready for Interlagos. Dave, first race of the season, is it one where you're trying to make a statement early? Are you just trying to kind of kick the cobwebs off? Are you just trying to have a good finish here? Is it one where you feel it sets you up for the rest of the season, or is it just kind of another race?
The first race definitely sets the tone, so you have to be ready. First of all, I hope these guys have put in the practice. I have heard that this league has some practice sessions and things like that, getting ready for the season. So I think some of these guys are definitely going to be prepped and ready. I think you got to take an approach where it's kind of like turn 1. You can't win the race on turn 1, but you can certainly lose it. So you have to take a measured approach, choose your chances wisely, and feel out your opponents. Who's going to be up there at the top? Who's going to be fighting with you wherever you may be in the field, and choose your battles.
So I think the one thing we have not talked about is certainly the elephant in the room, and that being weather. Weather has come to iRacing, and it is certainly something that affects the handling of the car. Obviously, talking about the rain, and the rain is now an option for these guys. They do have clear skies here tonight. We'll show you the weather as it is 68 degrees. Track temp is 71, but it is a 0% chance rain here tonight. So these guys won't have to worry about it, won't have to fret about it. It's the first race this season. Don't want to be dickish in the first race. So it's whether these guys are choosing the weather or if they're doing the randomizer. Either way, they can sleep easy and drive easy here on the track and not have to worry about the rain. But tell me what it's like driving in the rain, David.
Well, it's just a totally different approach. So driving normally in the dry, you have your racing line, you stick to it, and in the wet, that's pretty much the exact opposite. That racing line is just going to be slicker than snot, and as soon as that water hits it layers on top of the smooth areas of the track where the rubber's laid down. That is basically ice, and so you're just looking to stay off the racing line, cross it where you can, but as minimum amount of time on that slick rubber part of the track as you can. You have to you have to deal with the spray, you have to deal with slippery curbs, all of that. It's just a totally different approach, and personally I'm really looking forward to see that first race when some of these guys have to step out on the track in the wet weather shoes and see what dancing feels like.
I think that the biggest thing is, if you can look at the weather and you can see that it's either 100% a rain race or 100% a dry race, then you at least know what you got going into it. But it's those races where the track is dry and then all of a sudden it turns into a wet weather race or vice versa. The transition and knowing when to put those wet tires on, when to put the slicks back on, I think that's kind of a really, really big key for these guys.
Yeah, 100%. I know for a fact, they're not going to have that figured out. People are going to be trying different things. Some things will work, some things won't. There'll be risks that pay off. Some of it will just be luck, right? What's the timing when the rain hits? Where are you in the lap? Where are you relative to where when was your last pit stop? All of that stuff is going to come into play. These guys are going to have to be very aware, watch that radar, maybe have someone in the pit box or in the pits, watching the radar for them when they know there's a chance of rain. All that stuff's going to come into play. So there's going to be a lot more dynamic atmosphere when that starts happening.
These guys are about halfway done with the qualifying right now. At a track like Interlagos, how big is it when it comes to qualifying? We know certain tracks you definitely need to have a good qualifying effort. Is Interlagos one of them? You got plenty of nice straightaways here. You should be able to make some passes.
Yeah, you would think. Turn one certainly is a place where if you get a good run out of the last corner, you've got a little bit better, traction going through the high speed corners coming into the home stretch. You should be able to get a run in turn one. Other than that, though, not a ton of places to pass, and you might have to hope that you chose the vehicle that has the most straight line speed among these GT3s. Some of these guys, like the Porsche, may have more cornering ability, but we see one of the Mercs coming down the front stretch now. The Merc has a lot of grunt coming out of that last corner, so it may be a little more challenging for some of these guys to find places to pass. I think qualifying is going to be pretty important here. I wouldn't put it as one of the top qualifying is a must kind of tracks, but I would put it in the top half of tracks where qualifying definitely plays a big role.
We brought up a big point, and that's the car selection. These guys have 6 different cars that they can choose from for this season. The Ford and the McLaren, not an option as they have not made the cut when it comes to the being able to run in the different weather. So I'm not sure if iRacing is going to legacy those, bring in some new vehicles for them, but as of right now, they got 6 cars to choose from. And what goes into your decision when it comes to driving a certain car to a certain track? Is it one where you kind of get a feel for one of them and that's the one you stick with the entire season to really kind of hone in on that car, or is it track specific?
For the amateur guys, I recommend sticking to one car and getting in and understanding that car in every way, and sticking with it through thick and thin. For some of these guys that are more experienced, I would say, they got to be, if they can, if the league rules allow it, you really have to be doing your research on what car is suiting the track that week. So, at tracks like, trying to think of an example like Daytona, you want a car that's really going to be able to draft well. You want a car that has a lot of top speed, but at other tracks, you're going to want a car that really corners well, that gets in and out of the corners quickly and safely, that's just not always the same car. So some of these guys may choose, like you said, to stick with a car and understand it, and some may choose to see which car suits the track for them.
We are just about finished with our first qualifying here of the season. I want to thank everybody for joining us here on CRN for coverage here of the CSRL Season 8 Championship. And if you haven't done so yet, please hit that like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and it gets you in touch with everything that CRN has to offer, as we've got tons of racing the entire week. I mean, we got multiple nights where we're running 2, 3, 4 broadcasts in the night. So if you love racing, you love good racing, you're at the right place here with CRN. And these guys are ready to put on said racing, as we will take you now down to the qualifying results here, and we'll start with the pro class. And it is going to be Tim Ponzi heading at the field here with a 132.750 over Siviani Madrigal, AJ Roderick in third, Craig Jancic, Frank Pisano, your top 5. Colin Winslow, Rich Petrucco, Skylar Vickroy, Renan Delima, Dan Morera are going to be your top 10. And then rounding out the pro field is going to be Alan Elwood, John Seimer, Brandon Powell, Herbert Pineda, and Garrett Pittman. 15 cars here for the pro class tonight. In the amateur class, it is going to be Jason Potts on the pole with a 133.739. Randy Ayers, Jason Potter, Jay Little, Antonio Diaz, your top 5. Jim Herrick, Ian Wilson, Glenn Lazan, Brandon Potts, Christian Torres, your top 10. And then Leonardo Elijah and Tanner Bryant rounding out your 27 car field here tonight. Looks like Garrett Pittman was going to be running here tonight, but having some issues here, and he may not join the field out here tonight after all. But these guys are lined up, ready to go. And again, I feel like I say it in every series and almost every race, but I mean, some of the cars out here are just absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's one thing that I'm not good at, and I say it over and over again. I can base paint with the best of them. That's about it. That's the extent of my abilities. But some of these guys really take some time into putting their paints on out there, and a lot of beautiful ones out there. We'll try and showcase as many as possible. But Tim Ponzi going to lead these guys to the first green flag of the season with Siviani Madrigal on the outside. Dave, turn 1, race 1, lap 1. How scary?
Scale of 1 to 10, I think it's probably an 11 for some of these guys. You just have no idea what's going to happen, and you don't know what the guy behind you is going to do. Is he going to end up braking too late? You're back in the pack. Sometimes, if you're not real experienced, you might end up braking too late, and you have a bowling alley in front of you. So yeah, you just never know what's going to happen. Here we go.
These guys coming down the front stretch, a long drive down the front stretch here, as you see them from the last corner right there all the way down here. It is flat out, even though it's got a couple little kinks in the straightaway. They are flat to the floor all the way through here. But we are ready for another season of CSRL racing, and it is going to be in the hands of Barney one more time. And you see him tucked away there on the right-hand side of your screen. The pace car makes that really hard left-hand turn. I don't know why he's jerking the wheel that much. But we are racing here at Interlagos.
Man, the jump start on the inside, that yellow and orange car, he's gained about 3 spots.
And already got some issues towards the back. So spinning at the back there. We'll try and take a look at what happened and everything that's happened here, as the entire field fanned out, and it was probably 3, 4, 5 wide there. going into the corner. Already have guys diving all around, but Tim Ponzi out to a nice lead. Frank Misano jumps into second place.
They're still too wide, about 4 cars deep back in the field here. Man, Ponzi has already opened up almost a second. We're not even halfway through this lap.
Yeah, he's trying to check out early and just get into a nice little groove here. And so far so good, as like Madrigal is looking to the inside there a little bit. Just a beautiful track to start out at with Interlagos, with just sweeping corners back and forth. It's really a rhythm track.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is a great track to get in a rhythm and just kind of turn your mind off a little bit. Just feel the car underneath you, and then wait until it jumps up and bites you when the tires get hot.
And certainly it will do that, as these guys will come around to complete lap number 1 here on the season. Again, it's going to be 40-minute races for these guys. And leading lap number 1 is going to be Tim Ponzi in the 46. I'll try and take you back and show you what happened there at the start of the race, as there was quite a bit of chaos. And I mean, really, we got to slow it down just to get an idea of everything that went on here. And 3, 4, 5 wide, Brandon Powell, you see him in the back there, the Ferrari. Looks like he gets tagged there just a little bit by the BMW, and I mean, that Ferrari just loses that back end really quickly, and definitely a different looking car without the entire back end of that. But that thing broke off really easily after he got a little tap there from Herbert Pineda, and then Pineda goes for a little bit of a spin too. So really only 2 cars involved there, and just kind of tight quarters, and I don't know, about 75 cars in front of him, 14 wide. There's really not much you could do. It was just chaos there in turn 1. But at least iRacing decided to reel that thing back in like it sometimes does. They got the fishing pole out there on the back and reeled the back end in on him. But not sure how much damage that 831 is going to have there for Brandon Powell. We'll take a look.
From a design perspective, if you could keep the rear wing and lose that, cowl piece on the Ferrari, it might actually look better.
And might drive a little bit faster down that straightaway as well. But
that's right.
He is back in the mix here, running in 13th position here, and the Pro Class running right behind Tanner Bryant right now, who is one of the M Class drivers. So Brandon Powell certainly got some time to make up here on the field. This is going to go to the inside here in turn number 1, but all in all, it looks like the car driving okay right now, and it doesn't look like too much damage considering what it looked like during the incident itself. But everybody
that was a
got
weird
away.
one. It's like that Beamer front end just latched on and decided to take the whole rear cowl with them.
Yeah, I mean,
never seen like that before.
I know we were in slow-mo, but it looked like such a light little bump, like he barely touched him. And yeah, just decided to rip the thing right off of there. But good to see that he's back here in the field, and still got plenty of time to work on this thing as we're only 4 minutes in. But up front, it is Tim Ponzi out there to a 1.6-second lead over Frank Pisano. Tiviani Madrigal has fallen back to 3rd place. Rich Petrucco is up 3 positions right now, up into 4th. Greg Jansen, your top 5 in the Pro Class. Randy Ayers is leading the Am Class right now. We've certainly seen this last year as well, as Randy had some good races and put himself in contention for the championship, but now he doesn't have to worry about Seimer anymore. He can try and run his own race and try and get this thing done, as he is leading over Jason Potts right behind him there. And then the next car in line is Renan Delima and then John Seimer. So both the M-Class champions of the past 2 years are behind the M-Class leader right now of Randy Ayers.
Yeah, it looks like they have, stayed. Whoa, diving the inside, that's going to be trouble.
Yeah, that was contact right there as Renan Delima gets into the inside of Randy Ayers, spins him around. And we seen it live right there, and looked like the defender tried to get reeled back in and now fell back off again. So certainly damage there to the 66. And it's going to end up being a long race for both of these guys. We'll take a look at that incident one more time.
That's tough luck. It looked like the Ferrari really just took kind of a late lunge a little bit on the inside, not a lot of space given.
Yeah, into the side there of Ayers and spins them both around there. Hard impact into the inside wall for the 66. Looks like Delima maybe getting away a little bit easier damage-wise. But that's going to be a rough one for the 82 team.
Yeah, the 66 certainly took the
66.
The worst end of that one.
I mean, if you want to keep your tires cool, I guess if you don't have a front bumper on it, it certainly helps.
Yeah, exposing the brake ducts a little more air there, you know.
Just cosmetic. Well, out front, it is a 2.5 second lead for Tim Ponzi here as he tries to stretch out and get away. Take a look back here, a little battle brewing here between Jim Herrick and the 4D Porsche as he is trying to hold off Jay Little here in the 196. And gotta give a shout out to Jim over there with 4D Racewear, as I know he's helped and contributed again this season to bring it on us here at CRN and getting these guys broadcasted as they absolutely deserve to be. I mean, they put on really good racing and they have fun every week, and there's usually a really good sized field, so they deserve to be broadcasted. But yeah, it's a little bit of a battle here, and Jim's doing everything he can, including the off tracks, to keep that number 196 behind him.
That's a beautiful Porsche there, and a very nice paint job. A lot of colors on that paint job, but he's making it work in that 4D vehicle.
Yeah, three-way battle here.
Makes you think of 4D when you look at it, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
It's almost like another dimension to that paint job.
Jason Potter trying to go to the outside there, but it's going to have to fall back in line as he's trying to make it a three-way battle here for third place.
That is such a weird portion of the track, the off tracks there. You know, it lets you take basically completely off the track on the entry. And it wasn't until this year that I actually figured out you could do that. I watched people do it, and I tried to do it myself, and I think I was just going off too early. But yeah, the track limits allow you to really get a lot of space on that entry.
Yeah, it's so weird, and it takes some time and practice and laps on the track to kind of understand the limits everywhere, and that's kind of a big thing for every track individually. I mean, some tracks are just really touchy. I look at Spa. I was talking about how touchy Spa is, and you can drive down the middle of the track. Sometimes it feels like you're going to get an off track, but yeah, I mean, then you got other situations like here. You know, you go a little bit wide right here in turn number 4. That's definitely going to be an off track. But then you can go pretty much that wide, like you said, in the essentially the last corner there, turn number 15, and it's just setting up the corner, and there's no off track at all. It's so strange, but I mean, I guess it's kind of FIA rules. You know, it's whatever they feel like instituting for that racetrack.
Yeah, I think that, you know, they do it for good reason for the most part. You know, it's to make the racing better. It's to, you know, make the cars a little more comfortable, make it flow a little better. Sometimes you wonder, you know, about the consistency, but, you know, it is what it is, and you gotta figure it out and make the best of it.
So just like last season, these guys will need to make a pit stop in this race, and that could be a big determining factor when you talk about how the tire wear is here at Interlagos. Coming in for the short pit is something that could certainly help out in a situation like this. Like if you're Jason Potter, you're behind these two guys battling, you come in for a short pit, you could come out in front of these guys and not have to worry about trying to pass them on track. And pit stops are very big, whether it's a short pit or even, you know, coming in later than everybody else, but it's just getting in and off pit road as quick as possible can gain you a lot more than just, you know, trying to gain that on the track.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, attacking your pit box, really attacking the line, coming into the pits can be huge. And this is an area, this is a track where you're going as fast as you're going to be going on the track when you're approaching that pit lane. So you've really got to know where the point is where you're going to have to get hard on the brakes to get to the pit speed limit right before the line.
Tim Ponzi is checking out, not even in the picture right here. He's out to a 5-second lead over these boys right here. You got right in the front there, the yellow and orange Ferrari is Frank Bassano, looking at the purple number 3 here of Craig Jancic. Siviani Madrigal right here trying to get back up there. So he's lost a couple spots since he started up there in the second place, back and forth right now. And really the top guys here in the pro, all keeping it close together. If you're new to iRacing into to SDK, you look at the intervals there. The white lets you know that there's no battle really anywhere in sight at the moment. Yellow means there's a battle that's getting kind of close, and then the orange, they are as close as they are right now. We can see right here as Madrigal gets a good run out of the S turns here. We'll see if he tries to set up on the inside. Looks there and gonna go to the inside, maybe elbows out there a little bit for the 15.
That's going to be an off track for the Ferrari. He's not going to be happy about that. He's fighting it back on the inside.
Yeah, this thing is not over yet now. Jancic's going to have the inside for the next couple of corners. Madrigal tries to drive it hard on the outside, maybe a little bit more bumping and rubbing. It's the first race of the season.
He is not giving in right here. He is going to say, oh, you're going to take me off the track. I'm going to give it right back to you.
Madrigal finally gets the butt end of the stick there, and he spins out. You see him getting back, going right there, but Jancic is going to win out for the time being here and stay in third, but now he's got Rich Petrucco right behind him again, and the battling is going to ensue here as we'll have another Porsche trying to get here up here in the mix. But it is Ferrari, Ferrari, Ferrari in the top 3 here in the Pro class, and Ferrari leading over there in the Am class. So is that possibly the best car choice here tonight?
Well, we did this race in core not too long ago, and it was Ferraris at the top of the bill at the end of the day. I know Tim Ponzi did his research, and he was in that race and in a Porsche. And I don't think it's any coincidence he's in a Ferrari tonight.
Absolutely not. And a good look is here in Ferrari there at that as Winslow moved past Roderick there to take over 5th spot, but Roderick getting a good run from the S's. Could be looking to make a pass here, and it's really cool and it's really interesting. I mean, it's multi-class racing like this, or even just GT racing. It's cool seeing all the different cars there, all the different makes, and the different styles of vehicles, and yet they're all pretty much running the exact same pace. I mean, you look at these cars, and the Ferrari looks nothing like the BMW. The BMW looks nothing like the Porsche, and so on and so forth. But yet they're all set up to run roughly the same speed. They just all handle a little bit differently. Some handle a little bit tighter, some are a little bit more balanced, some are a little bit more free, and it really just comes down to driver preference and possibly like we said earlier, track dependency.
Definitely. I'm just looking at this Petrucco battling for third. He was right up on the back of the purple Ferrari of Jancic.
0.4 of a second separating as they come out down the front stretch. Starting to spread out maybe a little bit for now.
I like the paint scheme on Petrucco's car. He's got basically the colors I always choose: the gray, the dark black, and the yellow, the neon yellow.
Here's usually the opposite there. The gray is the neon yellow. It's predominantly neon yellow. You can't really miss you out there on the track.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I want it to be, right? You
Exactly.
want people to see you coming up in the mirror.
Well, especially now with the rain and the spray and everything like that that's coming with it. And that's kind of the big thing with the weather. And when you get to these rain races, it's damn near impossible with the spray when you're behind a car. And there's a lot of times where you have to run completely off the racing line just to be able to see and just be able to figure out your braking markers. So having a bright car out there certainly is going to be a bad thing once these guys get to a rain race.
Absolutely.
So we are 15 minutes into this one already, so already past a third of the distance here, and it is Tim Ponzi leading by 6.5 seconds now over Frank Pisano, Craig Jancic, and Rich Petrucco. Colin Winslow making up your top 5 there in the Pro class. Jason Potts is your leader over here in the AM class. Antonio Diaz is in second. Jason Potter, Jay Little, Jim Herrick make up your top 5 in the AM class after the little incidents between Delima and Randy Ayers earlier, as Randy is back here. He's caught the back of the field and can try and hopefully start making his way back up through the field, sitting in 11th right now. And he's certainly got a fast car, but he needs to get into the pits sooner than later and get that thing with a fast repair and get a little bit more speed to work his way up through the top 10.
Yeah, some of your biggest movers tonight. Yeah, Pisano up there in second, three places up, several others in the order: Petrucco, Morera, Elwood, all gaining 3 places. Antonio Abandano Diaz also up 4 places actually, and Glenn Lazem up 4 places in the 69 car as well.
And then you look at the other inspection. Obviously, Ayers and Delima getting sent to the back there with the incident, but then also Siviani Montreal having the incident there with Jancic, has lost 8 positions after starting in second. Now finds himself clinging on to the top 10. So at this point, if you're Madrigal, you qualified up there in second, so you clearly have a fast car out there, and you're battling right there with Jancic for third. Do you consider changing strategies, changing the time you're coming in the pits? Think about different ways to work your way back up there, or do you just kind of head down, plug away some fast laps, and kind of work your way back into this thing?
Well, after that little spin, and I did just see him getting a little loose on the exit of Junsao there, so he might be struggling a little bit with tires at the moment. I would be considering, is it going to be worth cooling off those tires a little bit? I don't know if these guys, if it's worth it for them to actually take tires in the pit phase, but sometimes it's enough just to come in and give the tires a break, let them get back, some temperature, some coolness in the tires to get a little more grip.
As it stands right now, it looks like we do have our first taker in the pit lane, and that's going to be Antonio Diaz into the pits here. Maybe a little bit early for pit stops, but certainly going to be seeing them come in within the next couple laps here, as we are getting close to the halfway mark here, as we're 18 minutes in, closing in on halfway, and I'm wondering why everything had to reset there for a second, but Tim Ponzi enjoying a nice lead out here, 7.5 seconds. I know certainly from over in the Core GT series, plenty of experience here at Interlagos, and it looks like it's paying off. I mean, he's stretching out on everybody in this field.
I mean, that's more than half a second a lap that he's putting on these guys, and really just kind of putting on a clinic tonight in that CRN Ferrari, that Core GT Ferrari that we used at Bathurst, and he is really keeping it in the track limits too. You saw a lot of these guys that were battling were going out into that green area, and actually on that corner, or this corner here, as soon as you got someone sideways in the back.
Yeah, I was just about to look at the battle here between Alan Elwood really 2 other cars here with Vic Roy and Morera, and just getting a little bit loose there, getting to the side of Vic Roy, and spins it out sideways. Doesn't look like he did much damage, if any, and gets that 10 rolling again here, but he's going to fall back a few positions, losing a couple more here on the exit. Jim Herrick just having a little bit of an off-track excursion again here, going a little bit wide. But all in all, I mean, first race of the season, certainly some guys getting the elbows out here and bumping and banging a little bit, but all in all, this is it's not the hardest track to start on, but certainly not the easiest. And it's when we talk about the flow of the track, you get out of that flow just a little bit, and it's kind of like the S-turns at Suzuka. I mean, you miss one, and it's just so painful trying to kind of get back in a groove. And it's only a few corners, but it just feels like you're so far off base going through there. And that's how I can feel the entire lap here in Interlagos. If you're kind of just off a little bit, it looks like Elwood going to be coming into the pits this time, and a pretty fun pit lane to come in, because you can come in there at absolute full throttle, but then you got to get it rolled up by there, the yellow cones right there.
Yeah, he looked like he might have been going faster even past the cone, so let's see if he gets away with that.
It's really not a difficult pit lane to get into. A little bit difficult coming out as you're coming around the corner and down the bend there, and really through the S-turns, but kind of in a cattle chute coming out of the pit lane. But this man out here can make a little bit of mistakes in the pits if he needs to, and he's still got a good shot at this thing, as he's out there to an 8.5 second lead. But Jason Potts kind of doing the same thing over here in the M class, as he is leading by 6.8 seconds over Jason Potter. So Jason Potts over Jason Potter, as my co-host here tonight said. We're not going to mistake that at all. That's going to be nice and easy here tonight. But it is Potts over Potter right now by 6.8 seconds. See, the guy right behind him is John Seimer, your winner here in the M class last season. And as guys like Delima and Seimer here, you won the M class last year. You may not be ready to compete with the big guys here in the Pro class, but you want to beat all the guys in the M class to feel like it was a well-deserved championship.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and probably it's, moving up a class, that's probably not a time to try to set hot laps and, put it on the very edge of everything you think you can do. But it's a time to start feeling things out, learn from the guys around you, see where they're faster, and take it to that next level.
Earlier this between Tanner Bryant and Renan Delima, as Bryant gets a little bit loose there, and Delima went to go to the outside there, but then Bryant closed the door, and very close there with the 87 of Antonio Diaz as well. But definitely some damage to Delima's car as he comes into the pit lane that next time by. Most likely will take a fast spare, as these guys do have one fast spare.
He must have some damage too that we couldn't see, as he just went right off track as well.
Yeah, I didn't see the toad back in, so he was able to work his way back on. But we are certainly in the midst of pit stops now, as a majority of the M class drivers have come into the pits. We're past halfway, so I'm sure see the Pro class drivers come in here pretty soon as well. But it is Ponzi, Pisano, Jancic, Winslow, and Petrucco, your top 5 in the Pro class. Potter, Lozana, Potts, Torres, and Little are now your top 5 in the M class, but again in the midst of the pit stops here. So we'll see how this thing shakes out. But Dave, what are your thoughts here? I know you've kind of touched in here a little bit last season, just kind of watch these guys race around here, but now you're in the booth and watching these guys firsthand here in CSRL.
Well, these guys are definitely a high level of competition. We've seen guys fighting back and forth. That they're taking their craft very seriously, and they're also just not ones to just give up positions. As you can see right on the screen right now, we've got a 3-way fight, and it looks like they're going to go 3 wide into the seat of the Lago. This may not turn out well for someone. Okay, they've thought better of it as the Lamborghini, and at least one of them goes off track. Well, and the 69 is through.
That's certainly a Lamborghini after your own heart there as well, Dave. As you see, Toto Wolff on one side looks like.
I was going to say he might be an F1 fan. I'm not sure.
Yeah, just a little bit.
He's got Toto there. I saw Gunter Steiner on the other side.
I was trying to see who was on the hood there as well. Well, that is Glenn Lazan, driver of the 69 here, and your leader right now in the M class, as these guys are still in the middle of pit stops. So the top 11 cars, your pro class, have yet to come into the pits, and looks like the only pro driver that has come in until right now, that was Alan Elwood, but John Seimer now into pit lane, giving up 10th place. Now, when it comes to a race like this, you know you're going to have to make one pit stop. Is there a preference to when you come in? Do you like to split the race in half? Do you like to try and run that first stint out as long as possible? Is it kind of just feeling out the car? Is it where you're at in the pack? What kind of determines where you're going to pit?
It's somewhere in between, splitting the race in half probably, and where I am in the pack, at least personally. Like if I'm in a pack like this, I'm probably losing time, right? So I might be, as he dives the inside, they're gonna make it work, make the pass happen here. I'm going to be looking for clean air, especially on this track. I think you can run a lot faster laps, when you're not battling, and maybe put some space between you and your competitors in the pit stop with a little bit of an undercut. So if I were these guys and I haven't pitted yet, I would be looking to do that and put in a really fast in lap and out lap.
We've got a battle now brewing for second place. Jancic has run down Frank Pisano. So this is the battle for second place overall, and not too far behind these guys is the battle for fourth place as well, as Petrucco has reeled in Winslow. So Viatti Madrigal pits this time by, but everybody else still staying out there in the pro class as we're getting close to 10 minutes to go in this race, and I think it's about time to crank these GT3 cars up, turn the mics off, and give you guys a little love to hear it. the sights and sounds here of the CSRL GT Series season number 8 for these guys, and we are through the pit cycle now as the last few have come into pits. Bassano, Winslow, Roderick in the pits this time by, so it's going to cycle out to Tim Ponzi with the lead, 6 seconds over Jancic, as you see right there. Bassano coming out, so the short pit works out for Jancic, and he's able to make it into second place. Looks like an issue here for Brandon Potts. We'll take a look here real quick. And it's saying that he crashed. We'll see. Oh yeah, loses the car here a little bit. Not necessarily a crash. I think SDK needs to change that to spin. Not just spin. If they hit the wall, then you could say crashed, but that right there, that was more foul right there. Gonna lose a little bit of time, but that's about it. But again, Ponzi out there to a 6.5 second lead. Jancic is now the man in second place over Bassano in third. Trucco and Winslow not too far behind these guys. So really second, third, fourth, and fifth still all right together within a couple seconds of each other. Anything can happen here in the pro class. Down in the Am class, Jason Potts is back out there, still leading over John Seimer, who is in the pro class now this season, and trying to get up and at least, you know, faux win the Am class here to feel good about himself, but running second place, I guess, if you will. But actual second place in the Am class is Jason Potter, and then you got Jay Little, Glenn Lazan, and Antonio Diaz, your top 5 in the M class. But you're down to 6.5 minutes left in the season opener here at Interlagos.
Yeah, some of our eagle-eyed viewers might have noticed that Tim Ponzi did lose some time on that pit stop. I believe he must have taken right-side tires by the amount of time he was stationary in his stall. So I do expect him to be able to quickly increase that lead once again.
Yeah, already out to 7 seconds right now. Take a look back here in the field. It's the battle between Skyline Vickroy and Dan Morera, who are battling for 7th and 8th. It's Simeone Madrigal trying to get back in the mix here as well. So this is 6th, 7th, and 8th, and maybe a slowdown there for Vickroy. I mean, it didn't look like he was that far off, but allows Madrigal to go around easily there and move into 8th position.
Can you get an off track from going wide in one of those earlier corners? Slow down, I mean.
You shouldn't, because you're going wider, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Ian Wilson, our lone Canadian out here, is running currently 8th in the AM class as he's trying to hold off Leonardo Elijah.
Someone needs to just sit there with the counter in the into Interlagos. Oh, some lazy spin there.
That's been a couple times now, and I think there's going to be some drivers after the race here, possibly sending CRN some PMs like, don't show me on the broadcast anymore. It seems like you get the broadcasters curse a couple times, and again, we jump right in here to some action. And it is heated. This is between Winslow and Petrucco. They're battling for 4th and 5th. It looks like Winslow is going to get it done on the outside. Can he close the door here for the left or the right-hander? And
the Porsche's faster through this section, though.
See Petrucco all over the backside of that Ferrari, but not able to get it done. So now we got Ferraris in the first 4 positions in the pro class. And
look how much the Porsche comes on these back and forth, carousel type corners. The Porsche just eats up the Ferrari, but he was able to get it done and get it clear before that section of the track.
Yeah, under braking and entry is where that Porsche really gains a lot, but then it seems like middle of the corner and off is where the Ferrari kind of gains it right back. Looks like we had an issue. Our leader here in the AM class. This could just be going wide. Yeah, quite a bit wide there was Jason Potts. Brandon Powell already off track there. We'll try and see what exactly happened. And I'll just get loose coming through the S's, turn 1. Car snaps out on him, but does get it back going here. Not too much damage. We bring back live here as we are down to 3 minutes left in the race, and it is all Ponzi and Potts, your Pro and Am class leaders right now by a good margin. 8 seconds for Ponzi, 7.5 seconds for Potts. So these guys trying to check out, but this is the best battle on the track, and it is waging on inside the top 5 here in the Pro class. Winslow has it. Petrucco wants it back, and we should be coming to, I believe, 2 to go this time by. We'll take a look at Barney as Ponzi comes by the front straightaway this time by.
Yeah, you're correct. It should be 2 to go. The Porsche is going to have trouble yet. You see how much gap that Ferrari puts on him on the exit of June Sao. And the Porsche is really not gaining much in the draft here.
So we're coming by the start finish line right now. And yeah, very little as they head into turn number 1 here. But then again, under braking and on entry is really where he gains a lot of time, but just not enough to get close enough to make a lunge pass on Winslow right now. But 2 to go here at Interlagos as this time is running out. And got another battle potentially brewing here back in the M class, and that is with Leonardo Elijah in 8th and in 7th Christian Ortiz Torres, as both of these Porsches doing a little battling here in the waning laps here. But a pretty good race all in all. I mean, a couple guys, you know, you see, like you said, just having some lazy spins here and there. Definitely some aggression, and you know, some guys trying to make a name for themselves in race number 1 for sure. But all in all, I mean, a good run for all 27 of these guys out here.
Yeah, definitely. They are giving it all tonight. They're trying to show, you know, what they can do in this first race of the season. Oh, looks like Ponzi hitting some lap traffic here.
Yeah, a little bit of traffic here. Don't want to see that when Barney is waving the white flag. You see him right there on your right side. White flag in the air as Ponzi just dealing with a little bit of lap traffic here, and then really this is, I think, that the first time he's had to deal with anybody for quite some time. The way it seems he's checked out from this Pro class. 8.2 second lead over Jancic in 2nd, Pisano in 3rd. Winslow still holding on to 4th place, but Petrucco still holding on to him as they got 1 more lap to go, and Petrucco's got to get it done now if he's going to get it done at all. And blinking out, maybe saving some tires, blinking out there a little bit, but going to make certainly 1 or 2 more runs at Winslow before this thing is over. And there's one of them as he dives into the corner, and that actually may hamper him here a little bit now because he's going to have to fight back and gain that track position back.
Yeah, I think that's probably done him in here, unless he can really make up a lot of gap in this area of the track and then send it somehow into June Sao.
Looks to be all said and done here, but still got a couple more corners to go, but not for Tim Ponzi. He's got a couple more kinks to go here before this thing is over. And Tim Ponzi going to cruise to win number 1 here on the season. And if I'm not mistaken, he won the season opener last season, and then unfortunately didn't really hear from him after that. He had a rough season after that, so hopefully this season goes a little bit better for him. But a good early run here as he will gap the field by about 8 seconds. Greg Jancic coming around, he's going to take 2nd place. Frank Pisano right behind him in 3rd. Winslow will hold off Winslow will hold off Petrucco for 4th and 5th. Looking over at the Am class, and it looks like Potts is gonna hold off Seimer. Seimer trying to look to the inside.
The Mercedes is gonna get him.
Seimer does not want to finish behind any M-Class drivers. He's trying his best not to, but drag race down to the line. Not for position, just for bragging rights. And it looks like Seimer got him by a small margin. Actually, it's showing up as 0.00 on my margin here in SDK, so that's how close it was. But Jason Potts is going to be your winner in the M-Class. Jason Potter going to finish in second. Jay Little in third. And then Glenn Lazon coming across here. He's going to finish in fourth for the M-Class. Antonio Diaz going to finish in fifth. Heck of a battle there to the line. It didn't mean anything other than, like I said, bragging rights, but these guys put on a pretty good show here for race number 1.
They did. That was a fun little drag race to the line. That AMG run, I was assuming on the inside was going to be able to get it done. It was a lot closer than I thought it would be. The Ferrari has a lot of torque coming out of that last corner as well.
So we'll try and round up the usual suspects here, the top 3 in each, and give these guys an interview here before we head out. But I mean, what are your thoughts here for the first race that you've got to broadcast here for CSRL and how these guys tackled Interlagos?
Well, I think that Tim Ponzi really put these guys on notice. You know, they're going to have to put in some time if they want to make up that gap to the front. You know, maybe Ponzi's taking advantage a little bit of having done this race not too long ago in another league. So he's practiced, he's ready, he's primed. But yeah, these guys are going to have to step it up a little bit. A lot of good competition through the rest of the field in both the pro and the M class. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the season.
Yes, some guys in the chat realizing that the car choice that they had was not the race choice here, as it certainly seemed like the Ferrari was the car of choice. I mean, top 4 in the pro class and the winner of the M class as well, coming home with the top spots here being Ferrari. And Porsche has been a favorite since the new Porsche came out, and certainly quite a few drivers here in the Porsche. But looks like we have a majority of our guys in here, so we're going to start it off here with the pro class. Just bring it back a couple laps as we do here, and then we're going to bring in our third place finisher first. So we'll bring him in now, the third place finisher here in the M class, 38 of Frank Pisano. And Frank, you had a pretty good race all in all out there. It looked like really it was just the pit strategy that kind of mixed you and Craig up there. But were you looking in the mirror before you came in the pits and seeing Craig get bigger and bigger?
I sure was for the last few laps. Yeah, I just I was a little too conservative on my in lap and my on my in lap. Yeah, and he got the jump on me. But yeah, it was a fun race. Man, there was no catching Tim. He was just motoring away.
Yeah, he was certainly out there, and you were kind of running your own little race there for quite some time in second after the little bit of mix up early on in the race. So I mean, what was it? Were you more than okay just kind of being all by yourself there and running in second for the majority before you came in the pits?
Yeah. You know, I felt good. I knew there was no catching Tim, and I was just trying to stay ahead of what was it, Craig and Rich behind me, and Colin. They were kind of battling, it looked like. But yeah, and then like you said, I just kept on watching Craig get bigger and bigger and bigger in the mirror. So, but yeah, he's a tough competitor.
Well, listen, a third place here in the opening round here. It's got to feel good to start off the season with a podium here and kind of take a little momentum for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'll definitely take that. Yeah, for sure.
Well, a good run here tonight. Congrats on the third place. Before we let you go, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
I got my cousins watching in Michigan and South Carolina tonight. Shout out to the Hunt boys. Yeah.
All right. Well, they got to see you up here in the podium and enjoy your race for sure. So we'll see you next week at Watkins Glen. See if you can double it up here.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for all you do too.
I appreciate it, buddy. That is the third place finisher here in the pro class, the 38 of Frank Pisano. Second place is going to be the number 3 of Craig Jancic. And David, why don't you go ahead and take Craig?
Craig P2 tonight, and it wasn't without, its share of battles along the way. Tell us a little more about that battle that you had with Madrigal.
Yeah, P2's incredible. I shattered my toe the other day, and braking's not the best thing that you could do with a broken toe. So we're working on that. I'm elated to have finished the damn thing, to be honest with you. But yeah, I don't know. Sib's dive was pretty late onto me, and I apologize. I don't know this track at all either, so I can't tell you what corners happened here. But we got that big left-hander, and I thought Sib's dive was a little late. So I decided that I wasn't going to lay over. I hung on his right there as we go through this sweeping left-hand bend. I continued to hang there, try to use a little bit of NASCAR side draft technique. It seemed to work. AMG had a lot of straightaway, and I was able to pull him back a little bit. Then we were able to draw even in here as we started this slow sector. Was still able to hang with him, even though he turned left into me there. And then he just drove kind of straight on into me there and unfortunately spun himself out. It is what it is. I'm not one to lay over, especially if I don't feel like I'm getting if I feel like I'm getting a little bullied, I'm going to bully back. And, I made sure that I gave enough room, but also made sure that it was going to be a really big challenge for him to get around me. And look, I hate that it happened. It is what it is. But, I'm, like I said, I'm just honestly happy I finished this race at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I saw, fair is fair, and I saw a lot of hard racing out there, and space was given, and there was some blows back and forth, but in the end, you came out on top there, and were able to chase down Pisano and get ahead of him for second place. So congratulations on that. Anything else out there that you wanted to point out that was a challenge for you tonight?
This track is a challenge for me as an individual. And I also, I really wanted to run the Audi, but I looked at fixed GT3 results from throughout this week, and it was always won by Ferrari, especially in the high splits. So I made a blind cover change to Ferrari pre-race, didn't turn any laps before the race session opened with practice. And I think it ended up being pretty much a dead even wash and compared to lap times I was running in the Audi yesterday. So that was a challenge, but aside from that incident with Civ, we had a pretty good race here. We were able to get the undercut on the pit stop through the pit stop on Frank, and was able to get that silver medal instead of the bronze one. So I'm really happy with that. And just really thankful to you guys at Core for the amazing broadcast. Thankful for everybody that showed up here to debut our season 8. Thanks to the admin team that works with me, Rich Petrucco and Jim Dutton, although Jim couldn't be here tonight. I'm glad to have them around and helpful with us, and all the viewers out there, Digital Sim Sports that support me personally, Tim Conti that supports me personally, Free Beer and Hot Wings Morning Show. Just a really, really good time to be in sim racing, my friend.
Yeah, you are not kidding about that. It's a great time in the sport and in the hobby, and you've given your shout outs here tonight. We will let you get on your way, and congratulations again for the P2.
Massively appreciated. Hope you guys have a great week upcoming.
Thanks.
You too, Craig. That is the second place driver in the Pro Class 3 of Craig Jancic, and now we'll bring in the man that was kind of in a league of his own here, and that is the driver of the 46, Tim Ponzi. And Tim, you had some lap traffic at the end. That was about the highlight of your race. I mean, you checked out from these boys, and I'm sure you're not complaining at all.
Yeah, no, I'll take that type of boring over the middle, any day. I just had a race not that long ago that was I was all by myself. And it's more fun up front for sure.
So what was it about the track tonight? Was it just so much experience running Interlagos, between Core and I'm sure other places as well, and just having a really good familiarity here?
I learned a lesson in Core. The Ferrari is definitely the car for this track. I was about as fast as you can get in a Porsche around here, and the Ferrari is a good 4/10 faster, easy. So yeah, I mean, once I seen the pace of it, I made the switch right before I tested, like right before the race, the practice started, and then I just chose to do it, and I'm glad I did.
Well, it's not often we see, that much dominance at the top of the boards. I mean, Ferrari for their first 4 spots, and even in the M class, we've seen Ferrari win the M class over there too. So certainly the car of choice here tonight. Last year, you started off on a high note as well. Is it going to be the same thing this time, or have you learned a little bit from your mistakes and maybe can make a run at this Pro Championship this season?
Yeah, that's my goal this season, especially it's a longer season. Making all the races and just being consistent, knowing when somebody's faster, just to kind of, take what you can get as you go. But that's definitely my goal this year is a championship. So I'm happy with the start, and I'm looking forward for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it doesn't start much better than this right here with a nice dominating victory here at Interlagos. So congrats on the win here tonight. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Thanks. I'd like to give a shout out to the guys over at Grid and Go for this. They've helped my times immensely over the last month. They provide a great service, and my speed tonight was directly related to them helping me out. So give a shout out to those guys, and thanks to you for broadcasting, and 4D for helping you guys broadcast. And yeah, we'll hopefully see you guys and talk to you next week.
Absolutely. We'll catch you at Watkins Glen, but take some time to celebrate this win here tonight.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
That's your winner here in the Pro class, and overall the 46 of Tim Ponzi. Now we'll switch gears and head over to the amateur class, and we'll start off. Dave, why don't you go ahead and take our third place finisher here tonight, the 196 of Jay Little.
Hey, guys.
Jay, it's going well. You got us up here in the booth?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, it's good to hear from you tonight, and tonight you're able to put it on the amateur class podium. Didn't see a whole lot of you out there in the race, but maybe a few times, some challenges out there. So tell us more about your race.
Pretty uneventful. I don't know. Good racing with Potter there.
So you were out there in the Porsche. Is that we saw 4 Ferraris at the front of the pack tonight in the Pro class. Did you consider any different car, or do any research on what car you were going to bring into this season?
Well, last year I was in the Ford GT, and so this time around I decided to try the Porsche. It felt a whole lot better. I don't own the Ferrari, but that may be something that I look at here in the near future.
That's right. And you got to figure out what works for you, what works for that track, for that week. Definitely going to be a little bit different feel in the Porsche versus the Ford GT. That Porsche certainly makes it easy to like the way it drives around here and in most tracks in general. Want to congratulate you again for the P3. Is there anyone that you would like to thank tonight?
I just want to thank the league for allowing me to participate. Lots of good racing. What more can I say?
Awesome. Well, thank you. We'll let you get on your way, and hopefully we'll see you up on the podium next week.
Later, guys.
Is your third place in the M class, the 196 of Jay Little. Second place in the M class is going to be the 453 of Jason Potter. Jason, a good run to start the season here. Certainly, you'll be in the top 3, and you come home in second place here. It seemed like Jason Potts was just out there a little bit too far for you to catch, but you kind of hung right there in the top part of the M class the entire night. So, walk us through your race and how you feel about this second place tonight.
It's a pleasure to be here talking to you guys. The start was a little hairy. Going down the hill after the first corner, I had a little help, but that's all right. I had to take a deep breath and just sort of settle down and then fall in line behind Jay, and Jay got to slow down and let me by, and I was we were cruising along there, and Jay went for the undercut, and I said, well, I better get in while I can. And luckily I was able to have a shorter pit stop than he did, and I got in and got out, and and then just sort of cruised. And then the last probably 3 laps or so, the front tires were just went away. And so I was just sort of hanging on there at the end, hoping that we could make it to the end without him running me down again. But it went well. And Jason was just out there just a little bit too much. I saw him, and the interval kept going up and kept going down. And I thought, well, maybe not tonight, but we'll give it our shot. And we're just happy to be here talking to you guys.
Absolutely. I mean, getting back to the start of the race, you get 26 cars out here taking the green flag, and it looked like it was about 26 wide going into turn 1. I mean, just everybody all over the place.
Yep, that's about how it felt too. I got to the bottom of the hill and I said, oh, okay, well, let's just let things sort themselves out. Let's get through the first couple laps, settle down, and just get into rhythm and click off some laps. And I was lucky enough to be able to do that.
Yeah, I assume you probably didn't let out a breath until the end of the S turn there. You're probably holding your breath the entire time.
No, that's exactly right. It was a little bit of pucker factor there, a little bit of code brown, and once you get past that, you're all right. So it was all good.
Well, you start off the season here again with the second place. Are you happy with the finish here tonight? Do you feel that's kind of where you're at?
I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic. When I logged in and I saw some of the lap times, I said, "Oh boy, I might be in a little bit over my head here." So let's just put our head down and run and try and race clean and not ruin my night or anybody else's night, and just sort of let the chips fall where they may. But yeah, I'm ecstatic to be here. I'm ecstatic to be a part of the league, and super excited about the rest of the season.
Was there a track on the rest of the schedule that you're looking forward to maybe try and make a run at that top spot here in the AM class?
Yeah, I don't know. I really liked. This was one of the better tracks for me. So I have to sit down and sort of study and see where I can improve. I haven't run a lot of GT3 races here lately, so I'm gonna have to sort of buckle down and do some homework, and hopefully we can shave some of those 5 or 6 seconds that Jason's got on us.
There you go. Well, yeah, you're damn near the same name to start with, so it's you got Jason Potts, Jason Potter, and Jay Little, so you got JJ and Jay right up there at the top. So
I can't imagine commentating. That's a whole lot of fun. Yeah, we're gonna make it as hard as possible. That's the plan.
We're gonna need some nicknames before long.
Go for it. Yeah, absolutely. Something.
All right, well, either way, you get a nice start to the season here with a second place. You head off to Watkins Glen next week. But before we let you go here tonight, anybody you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Yeah, my wife for putting up with this craziness and all the time that I spend doing this, and that I probably should be doing other stuff. She just sort of smiles and rolls her eyes and says, at least I don't have to go karting anymore. So this is a lot better than that. But thank you for having me, and thank you for letting me participate, and we'll get after it again next week.
All right, sounds good, buddy. Well, congrats again on the second place. We'll talk to you maybe next week.
Thanks, guys. Hope so.
That is your second place finisher in the AM class, the 453 of Jason Potter. Finally, we'll bring in your winner here in the AM class. And David, why don't you go ahead and take your winner here, the 57 of Jason Potts.
All right, Jason, this is David and Carl in the booth. You got a copy?
Indeed.
All right. Well, tonight you were in the Ferrari, and you made it a clean sweep for Ferrari on the top step of the podium for both classes. Tell us more about your race tonight, and what were the challenges that you faced?
Man, I'm super stoked. I haven't been able to practice too much lately because I got two new puppies, but man, I battled with John Seimer the whole race. He was like 7/10. We were, I guess, the same pace because he was 7/10 the whole race, man. It was crazy.
Well, we saw that drag race to the line, and
yes.
I said when you guys came out of Juncao, I said I think the Mercedes has got them, but then that Ferrari has a lot of torque as well, and just pulled right up on the outside, and it kept it right there. So that was fun to watch, even if it wasn't for position. So appreciate you putting on that show tonight. So you were one of those that, along with some of the guys in the pro class, you were able to take the or actually, did you come in twice to the pits?
No,
or just once? Yeah. So you were able to take that all the way to lap 27 before you made a pit stop. Do you think that contributed tonight to you being able to keep out in front of these guys?
No, I don't think when I pitted really was a factor. It's just I was fortunate enough to stay ahead of John because he came in, I think, the next lap. So he did close on me, but I was just fortunate enough to remain, like, I think 4/10 ahead of him when he came out, and I think I just was pretty consistent.
Yeah, staying consistent, keeping your nose clean, staying in the clean air, and not eating up those tires certainly was key tonight, and kept you out in front of the rest of your AM class competitors. So is there a race on the rest of the schedule for this year that you are specifically looking forward to?
Heck, to be honest, I don't even know what the schedule is. I guess the answer, no, not really. No, just take it 1 week at a time, get as much practice in as I can, and try to stay clean. That's my only goal. Try not to get in any me-caused incidents.
Well, you got to figure out how to pick up those 5,000ths of a second that John Seimer beat you there at the line as well.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, you kept that car clean tonight, and you brought it home for the win. And we're going to give you a little time to give any shout-outs or thanks to those that you have on your mind tonight.
I don't really have anybody to shout out. Just my cousin, Brandon, shout out him. We normally practice together, but he's been sick. And like I said, I've been tired. But yeah, just glad to be able to keep it on the road.
That's right. Well, shout out to those puppies as well, and hope they're doing well in your house. And we will look forward to seeing you next week, and hopefully talk to you again.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That is your winner here in the AM Class 57 of Jason Potts. And a good run again for these guys to start off the season. 27 cars were in the field. Unfortunately, Garrett Pittman wasn't able to take the green flag here tonight, so 26 took the checker flag. Everybody finished the race, and everybody was on the lead lap as well. I mean, as much as had some of these guys check out from the rest of the field, it's not the biggest track in the world, but it goes to show the pace throughout the entire field was not too dramatic. I mean, everybody again finishing on the lead lap for 40-minute races is not that easy, but good job by all these guys out here.
Yeah, I totally agree. I saw a lot of perseverance. There's some adversity out there, and these guys stuck with it. And really, the pack was together for most of the race. And no major, just way off the pace issues. Certainly there was pace differences between some of these guys that have a little more experience, and the two classes is meant to display that. But even despite that, just really, really good competition from these guys. And I think it's going to be a great season, especially if they can keep these car counts up in the high 20s or 30 cars. That makes for a really great, some great entertainment, and really fun to watch.
Take a look at the race results one last time before we get out of here in the pro class. Tim Ponzi taking the win here by 8 seconds over Craig Jancic. Frank Bassano, Colin Winslow, Rich Petrucco, your top 5. AJ Roderick, Dan Morera, Siviani Madrigal, Skylar Vickroy, Alan Elwood, your top 10. John Seimer, Brandon Powell, Renan Delima, Herbert Pineda, and Garrett Pittman, credited with your top 15 in the pro class. Over in the AM class, it was Jason Potts taking the win by 6.3 seconds over Jason Potter. Jay Little, Glenn Lazan, Antonio Diaz, your top 5. Leonardo, Elijah, Christian Torres, Randy Ayers, Ian Wilson, Brandon Potts round out your top 10. And then Tanner Bryant and Jim Herrick will round out the field. So I was mistaken. There were some guys that did finish a lap down and in the back of the field. But all in all, great race by all these guys out here. Thank you to everyone that tuned in here. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that like and subscribe to help these guys out and help yourself out to everything that CRN has to offer. Thank you to Jim Herrick over there at 40 Racewear for helping CSRL broadcast another great season here for Season 8, and I'm certainly looking forward to the rest of the season. Thank you to my co-host here, Dave, for jumping in the booth with me here tonight, and should end up having Joe Sullivan back here in the booth and getting some more love for some road racing here and getting his taste for it for sure. But for myself here and David at Interlagos tonight, we'll see you at the track.